I have judged probably everyone and everything at one point or another in my life. And this is something I worked on for years trying to understand, where does judgment come from? Why do I even have these thoughts? What triggers them? And there were times when I turned to Fahad and I tell him I'm such a horrible person because I'm judging everyone. And he would ask me, are you also judging me? And I'm like, Habibi, I'm judging myself. So obviously I'm judging you. ما طلعت أنت من equation. And upon many years of self-reflection, of research, of reading, of trying to understand, where does this judgment come from, I've come to realize that there are five roots to why judgment exists or why we judge. So the first judgment is a form of projection or self-criticism. So when I am very harsh in myself, I will judge others to feel better about myself. So an example, for the longest time, I very harshly criticized my legs. I criticized the size, I criticized the cellulite, I criticized the fact that I don't have a thigh gap, and it was a weak point. And every time I'd see other women, the first thing I'd look for are their legs, and I'd look at their legs to criticize them, not to see that, you know what, we're all similar, we're all the same, and everyone has their different forms and shapes. But it's a form of self protection. The second layer of judgment is the ego feeling defensive or superior. So an example of that is when I made the choice to boycott certain brands. Whenever I'd see someone who is not boycotting, I would judge them. I would judge them because of their choices, because my ego wanted to feel superior about my choice, that I'm doing the right choice and you're doing the wrong choice, rather than seeing it as, you know what, everyone's entitled to their own choices. And if I'm doing it for me, then good for me. And if they're not doing it for whatever reason, then that's on them. But it's not my place to judge or feel superior based on my choices. Then the second layer is the unknown. So when we see someone that is from a complete different upbringing, a complete different uh, part of the world, a complete different way of dressing up, of behaving, of just appearing as a human, something completely different than what we are, we judge that because it's a new unknown territory for us. Like, oh, why would this person color their hair purple? Why would this person pierce their ear and enlarge it? And so we would judge it because it's something we cannot relate to. And the next layer, it's wanting to put things in boxes so that the brain does not have to think too much about it or trying to analyze it or trying to understand it. So, for instance, when we say things like white people, we categorize people in certain boxes because it's just easier to put people in boxes and we don't have to try to figure it out or try to understand them or try to see the humanness in them. We'll just put them in boxes and just keep them in these boxes. Then the final layer, which is a learned behavior or a social norm. So, for instance, for us, it's socially normal and accepted for the whole wedding process of, let's say, sometimes the parents will meet up and then the bride and the groom will meet and then they'll get married even if they didn't know each other. This to us, very normal, very accepted. Whereas cultures like in Bali, it's very normal and accepted for the couple to first have a child and then get married. And this to us, it's very unusual. And so maybe when it's something unusual to what is normally accepted to us, would be seen as something we would judge, and this is wrong or not right. And so what this journey of judgment has taught me is that there's not necessarily one right and one wrong. There are so many rights and wrongs, and one way to tackle judgment is to approach things and people with curiosity rather than labels and boxes.